Okay. Good morning, students. Uh, am I audible, students? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So, in the last class, we were having a discussion on uh, changing the uh, changing the voltage in proportional to the synchronous frequency. Synchronous frequency implying that the machine is not changing. The machine has the same number of pole, but we are changing the supply frequency. We are changing omega s. Essentially, we are changing omega s in proportion to the voltage. That means we are changing omega s. We are changing supply voltage. We are changing both, but we are changing in proportion. That means we are changing VSTH by omega s uh, as a ratio. Let us say this is a ratio K, and we are maintaining it constant. Ratio K is maintained same. Okay, we normally use the term V by F. Omega is the supply frequency that is changed. That is changed in accordance with the voltage. These two things simultaneously change. And then what happens to the characteristics that we are trying to understand. So original characteristics is, as you know, this is the torque and this is the actual rotor speed. Normally it is drawn in terms of the mechanical thing, so it is omega c. Okay, so this one is the characteristics we all know, right? Now what happens if I am changing, this is corresponding to one Vs, let us say Vs Th1, that is the supply voltage, and the corresponding frequency is omega s1. Okay, you all know the synchronous speed is nothing but 2 by p times omega s, supply frequency, right? We all know that. Now what we have done is that uh, we have changed the voltage, but we have not just changed the voltage, we have changed the voltage along with the frequency, supply frequency, maintaining the ratio same. That means we are changing out to a new voltage VSTH2 by omega S2, which is nothing but VSTH1 by omega S1. So how this characteristics is modified or changed, we would like to see with some approximation. So you can clearly see that in this zone, at least in this zone, this is the most interesting zone. So this in this, because we operate in this zone. So in this zone, what is the situation? We know that in this zone, R2 dash by S qualitatively is much, uh, very much higher. Qualitatively is very much higher than both RE and 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 X. So this zone, this is because S is small, therefore R2 dash by S increases. S is about 3%, 4% in this zone, and even here a little more, but doesn't matter. It may be 7, 8%. But even then, this number R2 dash by S in this zone, when S is less than say 5 to 10%, less than 10%, even then this number will be dominating over XC or RE. This will be dominating over that. So therefore, this this place I can approximate these characteristics as P by omega sin VSTH square into R2 dash by S, and denominator is R2 dash by S square, right? So this is approximated in that zone when sleep is small, say let us say S less than 0.1, this zone, right? So this zone we can say that it is 3 omega c and VTH square, VTH STH square into S by R2 dash. So, which can be further approximated as V by omega sin by VTH whole square into S into omega sin by R2 dash by R2 dash. So what is it telling now? What idea is it giving to us? So the idea that it is giving to us is, if we look at it, we said that the way we are changing omega s, the stator supply frequency, if we change omega s, correspondingly there will be a change in omega sin, because it is nothing but related by the number of pole turns. So there will be corresponding change. So if I say that I have maintained VTH by omega s constant, I am also maintaining, simultaneously I am maintaining, because the machine has not changed, the same machine. We are only playing with the supply voltage and frequency. We are not changing with the construction of the machine. So therefore this ratio will be constant, right? If this ratio is constant, then what is that it is giving? That the torque is dependent on, the torque is then is proportional to what? Because that has become constant, is proportional to S omega c, right? That means we will get the same torque provided we are operating with maintaining this quantity constant. That means if initially we are operating as slip S1 and the corresponding omega sin was omega sin 1, then the same torque will be produced if I maintain the product S2 omega sin 2 constant. That means S2 omega sin 2 is equal to S1 omega sin 1, then the same torque is produced, right? So I can then qualitatively come, I'm taking a characteristics when I have gone to a different omega sin, okay, approximately half position I have placed, and then I will have a characteristics and first draw it, that same torque will be produced. So what is this S omega sin here? This is the product quantity S omega sin here, right? You agree to that? So this gap between this and this corresponds to S1 omega sin 1. That is, this is corresponding to omega sin 1. This is the new omega sin. I can call it omega sin 2. New omega sin I have applied. If you want to get a number, initial omega sin was corresponding to supply frequency 50 Hz. We can think that the second omega sin corresponds to the supply frequency of 25 Hz. Okay, we normally feel comfortable in speaking in terms of frequency because this omega is radian per second, but it corresponds to the conversion. So we feel comfortable in speaking in terms of supply frequency. So this point corresponds to supply frequency omega sin corresponds to supply frequency 50 Hz. We have not gone to this. We must understand that we have also changed correspondingly the supply voltage. The supply voltage initially, let us say, if it was a supply voltage of 230 volt, line to the phase voltage, if I consider that line to neutral or the phase voltage, then now I have gone to when I am using a frequency of 25 Hz, I have gone to a voltage of how much? I have gone to a voltage of 115 volt RMS, right? You physically, what is it meaning? Physically, why I am doing this? Physically, I mean that you remember the expression of the voltage. The voltage expression, voltage induced expression, has a term frequency, because after doing n d phi by dt, the frequency term after derivative it comes. So voltage is induced voltage is proportional to frequency. So if I had not changed the voltage but reduced the frequency, it would have been producing more flux. In order to maintain the same voltage, this had to go to a more flux, right? If I didn't change the corresponding frequency. Sorry, if I change the corresponding frequency, if I change the frequency but didn't change the voltage, then the flux level has to adjust itself. That means flux level has to increase and make the product equal to the applied voltage. So that means as we reduce the frequency, if I keep the voltage same, the flux will increase, which means the machine will saturate. The flux level, it has to, in order to maintain the same thing, because voltage is an imposed function. You are putting on the terminal, you are not asking anybody, you are not asking the machine whether it likes it or not. You are imposing the voltage and imposing the frequency. So machine has to respond by developing the flux, right? So in this case, the machine feels compelled to develop the flux, which is higher than the its rated flux. Rated flux is decided, as you know, by the material property of the magnetic material, in this case iron, right? And the construction, that means cross-sectional area, which is predetermined. So, so we see that sorry. So we see that yeah.
Sir, the expression of induced voltage is there we have this omega proportional to induced voltage, but that is the expression for induced voltage, right? Here, like voltage is not getting induced. We are supplying the voltage and it is generating.
Yeah. You are right.
So, like,
But you don't.
the
So
same
I have
the same expression won't be valid, right?
same expression is approximately. You are supplying the voltage, which is equal to I into R plus R1 plus stator resistance IS into R1 plus J IS into X1 plus E. Okay, plus E induced voltage, right? Induced voltage. So what we are we know that this R1 is very nearly equal, very small. X1 is the leakage inductance, very small. It is negligible compared to the level of the voltage. So Vs is essentially dictating ES. This we are supplying, but by saying that we are supplying voltage, we are essentially deciding what must the eventual induced voltage should be. The machine, we are asking the machine, you develop it accordingly. You cannot adjust it by saying, simply by adjusting these quantities, because the resistance is a coil resistance, which is negligible. The drop will be maybe 1% here, maybe 2% here. So effectively 95 or 96, 97% drop of the supply voltage Vs is coming from the ES. So that is what is this thing. So approximately this is, we call it ES. Essential feature that is happening, essential thing that is happening in the machine is, when you supply the voltage at the terminal, you say what you expect the ES to be, ES level to be. It will be slightly different due to current, maybe 1-2% different. But that is not the essence. Essence is the voltage, supply voltage becomes almost equal to the induced voltage. And it is now dictated. Now to dictate, when you dictate it, then the machine just has to respond to that dictation. So ES has to respond by adjusting the flux level. Okay, it has to adjust the flux level. It has no other choice. Now, when the initial flux level and the product is in this EMF expression, the frequency term also comes. Then frequency is also dictated. Machine doesn't dictate the supply frequency, or the yes, machine induced voltage doesn't dictate what is the supply frequency. So it has no choice. It has only one thing, that is to adjust. That is its flux level, right? So if you change the frequency to low, but don't change the voltage, don't change the supply voltage, the consequence will be that since the frequency has dropped, the flux level has to build up in the higher flux level has to build up in the machine in order to match the induced EMF, which has to match the supply voltage. Okay, more or less it has to match the supply voltage. So so what is the consequence? Consequence is that the machine will saturate. Machine will not, because we have not designed the saturation means now lot of extra current will go. The magnetizing saturation means what? Machine is becoming like demagnetized, like air. Okay, so therefore then you will see that the consequence is that from the BH curve, okay, you will see that the more flux level has to more current, magnetizing current has to go, because now you are trying to magnetize the air. Earlier this path, your magnetizing thing, you had most of the flux path you are passing through the iron part, and small air gap was there. So you are had to magnetize only that small portion of air gap between the stator and rotor. Now the core itself has become air. The magnetic material has lost its magnetic. Mu r has changed. Mu r has become equal to 1 if it saturates. So that means from the source it will draw more current. Since it is a voltage source, it has no choice but to give the current, because it is a voltage source. Voltage source cannot dictate the current that is drawn from here. It can only dictate the voltage that is applied to the machine. Do you get a feel what I am saying? Amritaksha, is it up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So here the consequence, you should never forget. These are cardinal laws of electrical engineering. When you are applying voltage and frequency to something AC, in order to maintain, because most of the things are based on maintaining the same flux. And maintaining the same flux, cardinal law is V by F. V by F, voltage by frequency. In the grand viva, many people are asked this sort of questions. Okay, what happens if I give same 415 volt but apply with 25 hertz frequency? This sort of things. You will feel that, oh, it's very good, right? Frequency is reduced, so no problem. Anything reduction is good, but anything reduction is not good, right? Reduction is time increase. Frequency reduction is time increase. Time increase means it is integrating for a long time. The voltage is integrating for a long time. And integration of voltage is flux. So the flux level has to build up. And flux level will build up. Flux level has no choice but to build up. But in order to build up, it has to draw excessive magnetizing current. V by H current. You remember V by H saturation thing. The flux level has no choice. The moment you have applied voltage, flux level has to build up. Okay? You are forcing it, dictating it. You have applied voltage, you have applied frequency. No choice but the system has to build up that. Consequences, it will draw abnormal amount of magnetizing current, and after that consequence has to be there. Machine will fail, the coils will burn, things and like that. Okay. So that is why in this thing when we operate at a different synchronous frequency or different supply frequency, we correspondingly change the voltage as well. We reduce the frequency, we reduce the voltage. We increase the frequency, we can afford to increase the voltage. If we increase the frequency but don't increase the voltage, that is as such not that bad. Why? Because you will operating at lower flux level than the rated flux level. You have not changed the voltage, but you have changed the frequency. Means you have gone to higher frequency. That means you are integrating for a smaller duration. And as you are integrating for a smaller duration, the flux is building up to a less value, which is not as such bad, but bad from the point of view of that you are not able to produce the rated torque for the same current. In order to produce rated torque, you now require more current, which is not good. So as such, it's not that the machine will not operate. Machine is only not fully utilized. Machine's capability is not fully. You are operating less than the rated flux. Okay. First, make sure that we operate at the rated flux in order to have less current for the rated torque. In order to produce some amount of torque, we always want to do optimize. We want to pass optimized current, minimum amount of current, right? So in order to minimize, since it's a product, one thing we just build it up and keep it to the maximum possible value, so that the other part can be as minimum as possible. Okay, so that is the philosophy. So in electrical, even transformer, even transformer, this question, there is basically no difference in the analysis of a transformer and an induction machine or a synchronous. There's no basic fundamental philosophical difference, right? Even transformer, if somebody says what will happen if I apply, instead of 50 hertz, if I apply 25 hertz, you will be careful and you have to say that the transformer will saturate and the magnetizing current will be drawn, lot of magnetizing current drawn. But if somebody says I apply 75 hertz, what will happen? You say that yes, then you are operating at a lower flux level, and that has the consequence that you are for the same power you have to increase more current, etc. So you are not operating at the optimum. You are not fully utilizing the core. You could have designed the transformer with smaller core. So because you are operating at a lower flux level. Okay. So these are the this is the you could have used a transformer with lower cross sectional core area. So that would be your conclusion. So what we are seeing is that here the torque is now given by this expression. So what we'll see that S2 omega sin 2 will be equal to S1 omega sin 1 if T1 is equal to T2, right? So therefore I will draw the characteristics like this. This will be the characteristics, and this one, same torque level, this one, this one is equal to S2 omega sin 2. This is the slip frequency that must be equal to the earlier S1 omega sin 1. Okay, so so this is how a new slip, slightly different slip will be developed. Okay, so a slightly different slip will not be constant. You must understand that it is not slip that is constant, but slip frequency is constant. For the same torque, you require the same slip frequency, the product S2 omega sin 2, that will be remaining constant. And the maximum torque is also constant, also approximately constant. I should not say very equal to. Maximum torque is this, that also is more or less constant. Why is that constant? You can see the maximum torque expression and do some simple analysis. So what was the maximum torque expression? You see what was the maximum torque expression. So this was the maximum torque expression. Here also we do a small manipulation. We multiply and divide. Okay. So here also we do a small manipulation. So what we do is we write it 1 by omega sin and V S TH whole square P by 2. Then I have put omega sin in the numerator. Here I approximate. I always reactance is normally more than the reactance part is always more than, that is RE is less than not equal to, less than XE, and so on and so forth. So and so here it will be approximately, it can be approximately thought of as just XE plus X2 dash. Okay, and you can see that omega sin is nothing but this actually is coming from omega supply, right? But as a ratio it is not at all bothering us. As a ratio, this is remaining constant. So maximum torque is a ratio. As long as you maintain VTH by omega s is equal to constant. If you maintain that omega s constant, you can see that this is also maximum torque also nearly equal to constant, because this is cancelling. This is omega sin and this is omega s, so they will be cancelling. A number of pole is a constant, is not changing. So therefore, this ratio is nearly equal to constant. Therefore, the characteristics that I had drawn in the previous page holds good.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, here you have in the maximum torque expression, here you have approximated that RE is very less than XE, as means XE also has also is dependent on XM, and XM is generally very large as compared to R1, right?
RE is actually quite less, right? RE is the Thevenin equivalent resistance, and you know that it is approximately equal to R1, right?
Yes, yes, yes. And
It is,
XE is means that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that XE also depends on XM, and XM is very large, so that's why we can approximate that RE.
yeah, that's why I can explain. The XC is also very nearly equal to X1, right? X is somewhat equal to X1, right? So it is this approximation is holding, and the reactive drop, the leakage reactive drop is always more than the resistive drop. So leakage reactance as such is always this part always dominates over the resistance part, and here it doesn't have any R2 dash by S expression. So maximum torque is also becoming constant. Okay, nearly constant, I should not say, but in electrical engineering, this sort of qualitative understanding is very, very important, because we operate this way, because it has an operational advantage. The operational advantage, can you see the operational advantage here? Operational advantage here is that you are able to shift the machine characteristics, and this is in your control, because you are applying this voltage and you are supplying this frequency. One minute, this is. Okay, these two pages were lost. Okay, so let me take this one. So I was telling you that how do we shift the characteristics. This one, now we have, oops. So this is the first characteristics, and what is happening?
Sir. Sir, means in the earlier part, means you the curve that you drew, it was between torque and omega rotor, na? Means in the last.
Rotor, always omega rotor.
But sir, means this means but torque and slip also has the same nature of curve, na? So and slip is omega sinc minus omega rotor by omega sinc. So will torque versus rotor also have the same kind of means curve as you drew in the last part?
I am drawing torque versus omega rotor, and this is the slip. Slip is defined as what? Omega sin minus omega rotor by omega sin, right? This is corresponding to 1 omega sin. I am going to a different omega sin, right? Different omega sin, and I am drawing the characteristics like this. Second omega sin. This is the second omega sin. So omega sin 2. This is omega sin 1. Now, what is your question? I didn't get the question. I didn't get the
Means sir, I was asking that the nature of the curve that you drew that between torque and omega rotor, and between torque and slip, both has the same kind of nature. Means will both have the same kind of means nature. That's what I was asking, because that was
why
between
why it will not have same kind of nature? It is a new synchronous speed. I have used new synchronous speed and a new slip. This slip, but slip wise it is number wise it is 1 here, okay, and this for this is number 0 for this S1 is 0 here, S1 is equal to 1 here. For this fellow it may be a S1 S2 is equal to 1 here, S2 is equal to 0 here. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yes,
Because I have changed this. So this is 1 now. 1 is because it is always starting, but the synchronous speed has changed. So I have to put S2 is equal to 0. Okay, but overall the scale is some number based thing. Okay, so the slip is changing. Second slip is changing if I want to put it. Okay, do you understand it?
yes, sir, yes, sir, yes.
Okay. Right. So let me take a new page. I don't know what is happening. It is unnecessarily coming. Okay. So where I was, I am losing track. So these are the peak values.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you wrote that the torque, the TE is proportional to 1 upon XC plus X2 dash, right?
E is proportional to what I wrote?
1 upon XC plus X2 dash.
XC plus X2 dash, and top is omega sin. Yeah, tell me.
Yes, sir. So you said that X2 dash is proportional to omega sin.
X2 dash is also actually it is written in terms of omega supply. It is a electrical supply we write. Okay.
So how will they cancel? Like XC is not proportional to omega s, right?
XC is also proportional to omega s, right? Otherwise, how do we do XC? It is the same equivalent circuit we are doing, right? How is XC done? XC is the equivalent circuit. This R1, this, you short it, Thevenin equivalent you find out. So if this is function of omega s, this is function of omega s, so the XC that you are getting should also be a function of omega s. It is the Thevenin equivalent circuit. All the electrical equivalent circuit, the frequency is omega s. That is the supply frequency. Hello?
Okay,
Hello,
so
who asked it? What is your name? Who asked it?
yes, got it.
Got it? So electrical, whatever parameters we are writing, the frequency is the supply frequency, nothing to do with omega sin. Okay, only in the torque expression we get omega sin, as well as we are writing in terms of numbers x1, x2, etc. We are writing in terms of this. But when we think about it, when we see that the ratio is becoming omega sin by x2, we see that it is nothing but a ratio of 2 by p, something related to 2 by p, and these are basically omega into L. So it is a fundamental thing. Circuit parameters, more fundamental circuit parameters. More fundamental means inductances, resistances, they are more fundamental, right? They are not changing. The effect of the inductance in the circuit depends upon the supply frequency, because then it is multiplied by omega L. So omega L is the what is that called, resistive value of the inductance, or the ohmic value of the inductance, right? But as a ratio, omega sin is nothing but P by 2 by P times omega supply. So as a ratio, they don't matter, okay? Because the machine is not changed. Again and again, I'm repeating, machine is not changed. Machine has whatever the number of poles, it is remaining same. Only thing we are playing with it is by giving a different voltage and a different frequency, maintaining the ratio constant. And then we are seeing how is the torque speed characteristics of the machine will vary, will change. Okay. So whatever was earlier omega sin 1 in the torque speed characteristics, we said the slip is equal to 1. Right? Now in the new torque speed characteristics, omega sin 2 is less than omega sin 1. Okay. But at that point will be defined as this, as the slip is equal to 0 for the second thing. We should say it's a new slip, new variable we should use. First variable should have been set as S1 variable, and the second variable, second case, the slip variable should be defined as S2, right? So here we will say S2 is equal to 0. No confusion. Here we are showing, again, it corresponds. The maximum rotor speed will be corresponding to the synchronous speed, right? And that will correspond to the slip. But if you want to put it on the same x-axis, you define them as one as S1, another as S2. Okay, S2 is equal to 0, which may mean S1 is equal to something. S1 may be 0.6. That is a separate issue, which may mean for that point may mean S1 is equal to, that speed may mean S1 is equal to 0.6, but S2 is equal to 0. And we are now with a new definition of slip, because it is defined with respect to the new synchronous speed. Okay, omega sin 2 minus omega rotor by omega sin 2. So that is how it is defined. Have I made it adequately clear? Or anybody has any doubt, please feel free. Please ask. Or have I made it clear to you? Hello students, am I audible? Are you hearing me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
you are audible.
Okay. So I guess you probably understood the by what I mean, that this difference is now S2 into omega sin 2. And the earlier difference, same difference. Slip speed was same. This was S1 omega sin 1. So these two quantities adjusted themselves for the same torque. Torque production ability is not reduced. Very, very important to understand that the torque producing ability of the machine is reduced, because think about fundamentals. Fundamental is flux and current, product of flux and current. And flux has not been changed because we have maintained V by F constant. Therefore, flux level has not been changed. And the same amount of current will now go to produce the same torque. And the slip will be a new value, because it is now defined with respect to omega sin 2, which is less. So you can clearly see that it will be somewhat more, right? So omega sin 2, if it is half of omega sin 1, S2 is double. So that S2 into omega sin 2 is equal to constant, right? So if it was corresponding to 3%, rated torque was produced at 3% slip, it will be produced at 6% slip. Okay, but the product is same. If the product wise it implied 3 Hz, here also the product wise it will imply 3 Hz. It will imply 3 Hz, corresponding to 3 Hz. Okay, but the slip is 6%. Don't be surprised, because the base value has changed. Omega sin value has changed. So don't be surprised. The slip is different, but omega sin, this product is unchanged. That is the principle. So what is the beauty of this? The beauty of this is that you are able to shift this. Why stop? Oh, this is nonsense. My pen is misbehaving. Okay, I don't know what to do. Okay, I will close once. Please excuse me, I will close. Okay. Oh, I don't know. Will you excuse me? I will one more time reset it. I'll start the machine one more time, but it may take 2-3 minutes. But otherwise, it is becoming a pain. Actually. I am not able to have control over the. So let me try.